sure volume all the way down. Okay. Boop. Why is the app on iPad and Twitter like, or iPad on iPhone and it's so different for Twitter? Why is that? Do 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 do. That. There we go. That's better. Okay. Oh my goodness, already. Couple people. Howdy. How's it going? Oh, thank you. I love you too. What's up? And awesome applause. Cool. So I actually was trying to do a screen share, but I don't know for what reason, but Action didn't have it where I could do screen share with webcam doing a live stream anymore. It used to have that, and it couldn't find it. It couldn't get it to work. So, and due to the fact that last time I tried using OBS for a live stream, no one could hear me, and that's been consistent across the board. I just, y'all can't see what I'm working on. I was going to share it with you. I'm being honest, but for some reason, it just didn't want to do that. So I figured while I'm working, you guys might as well be able to just ask me some questions, and I'll do it the best I can. And I got my iPad up over here with the live stream, so as the questions come in, I'll try to answer. But in the meantime, I will just be working. So this is because I didn't post a video yesterday. Reason for that was, and I'm just waiting for the project file to open up. Reason for that was because I had recorded, I want to say like 3 reactions or, reaction videos to some of Gift of Gab. Someone had asked me some questions, some things that she had said that they wanted clarity on, and they tried communicating with her and she wasn't responding, so they wanted to know if I would watch the video and answer some of those questions. So I tried doing that, but it wasn't the same as reacting to Bad Voiceover, and it wasn't the same as reacting to CDawg VA. It didn't feel right. I don't know why. It just didn't feel right, and it didn't edit right. It seemed more like I was kind of. It wasn't comical because it wasn't supposed to be, but it seemed more like I was critiquing her, and I didn't really feel like that was right. Maybe I'll still upload those later, but I decided to not. So that was the only thing that I recorded. So I decided, don't even bother. And I did a lot of art yesterday, art and writing. Why is this project file taking so long to pull up? Anyway, I did a lot of art and writing. If y'all guys follow my Instagram, that's where I post a lot of my art. And, just been getting to a lot more art. A lot of random stuff. Just trying to keep that skill fresh, even though I've kind of gotten better in certain areas of art. It's like physical or hand-drawn art. But it's a field that I don't really care to be really, really good at. It's not, I don't need to be able to draw, I don't need to be able to animate my own animated feature. I do have an animation, like a 2.5 minute animation that I did. It's just black and white that I may upload because I am kind of proud of it. It's part of a passion project that I'm working on. And that's really the only animation that I've been working on. As far as art, it's just completely random. It's just still grabbing the files. And then writing. So there is a short story that I wrote called The Black Dress that this was like 6-7 years ago, maybe more. And I couldn't sleep. This is before I was taking like melatonin, basically every night. And so some nights I just couldn't sleep. This was I always had insomnia ever since I was a kid. And a lot of times it used to be because of my allergies. My sinuses would just be so stopped up. I couldn't breathe when I'd be lying down. So that was part of it. But then there was also being hyperactive. So my mind was always racing. And so sometimes I just can't fall asleep. And there was one night that I just couldn't fall asleep. Unfortunately, I didn't have work the following day. So I just stayed up and I just wrote a short story. And I think in 2 days I wrote this short story. And I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know how it was going to end. And I just wrote it. Well, since COVID, I had been posting a lot of my terrible short story, very, very short stories. Some of them were just basically just poems online under a pseudonym, which I will never disclose. And the reason for that is not only are they terribly written, some of them were during my obsession with serial killers. And this was also a period when I was depressed and had a lot of people that I hated at work. I'm not going to say anything else, but I don't want any... And I changed all the names of everybody, but there's some people that may or may not have been basically murdered in my short stories in horrible ways. And I don't want that connected to me. But since I posted that online, I didn't even bother to clean them up or anything. I was just like, I'm just going to post that because I wanted to, learn about the ins and outs and kind of tinker with the ins and outs of posting my own stories. Why is this taking so long? My goodness. Man. I think it's just because I had the files set to where they were online only. But then there was... just post them because I wanted to learn about it. And then people started buying them. I think I had have them as pay whatever you want. And then so far I made $100 off these really shitty short stories. They've been up for a year and a half, so I don't know if this is impressive or not. So since then I was maybe I could take some of the stuff that I've actually written that I'm actually proud of, finish it, and actually post it. So that's something that I've been working on. And there's some other stories that I've also been, working on, trying to finalize. One of them is probably one of the biggest projects that I think I've ever written or ever planned. It's kind of big. It's pretty big. And I don't know if it's going to work best as a book, as a webcomic. My hope is that it would be an animated series. But if it's just a book, that's totally fine. However, I'm still not an experienced writer for the most part, so that kind of thing is going to take a while. So we got Nate Ricks says, been there. Are we talking about the writing or are we talking about the part? And then we got Gerardo. I think it's saying that right. Yeah. It says, hey, Tim. And I'll say, hey, back. Okay, so the project finally pulled up. So this project, and again, I was going to show you guys. I don't know how to share this. I can't show you because like Action just literally refused to do anything. It was another fan dub that I was working on, 1 minute fan dub, 1 or 2 minute fan dub, and yeah, I wanted to work on another one. So there was one that I'd basically gotten finished. All I needed was the female voice lines, but after listening to it and all the rest of the audio, blended pretty well, I wasn't happy with my performance. So, and due to the fact that basically I lose money doing these kinds of fan dubs, I couldn't justify, since I wasn't proud of it thus far, I couldn't justify paying a female voice actor to do her lines just yet. So I was like, I'm just going to wait on that one. So I found another one. I think it's just called Actually I Am. And I think it's like a demon girl in school. She's got green hair. There's like one scene that I thought was really funny that I wanted to take from that and, try that. And so I had already cut up the dialogue of each one of the characters, divided them. I'd already layered it, got the sign is sleeping. Yes. Gotcha. Oh my goodness, how do you say that? What? I'm trying really hard. Give me a second. Neurotic? Nope. Something blessing. Narco blessing. Says, hello. And then we have time to learn. Yep, time to learn. Time to ask questions. You can ask questions. I was setting this up to do more of a learn thing. But Action's messing with me, and so has OBS. So for the love of God, I wish I knew what was up with either one. I wish I knew how to use OBS effectively. I've watched an equivalent of an hour and a half's worth of tutorials on the basics of OBS. And every time I use it, it has a problem every single time. It's normally audio, which is horrible because that's my main thing. So for the most part, I don't use OBS, especially for live stream, just because it's just so finicky and it's just so unreliable. But then I was going to use Action, but for some reason I can't do screen share and FaceTime at the same time. And, so I was just like, screw it. We'll just do a Q&A. Ask me anything whilst I work. Actually, what I might be able to do is I might just take the scene and post it down below in the comment section to see maybe the scene that I'm editing. Let me see. Oh. That would at least give you some context. Yeah, it's just from the first episode. Oh, they have like. See, this is something I like. This is something I'm starting to like. There's a lot of animes that, a lot of anime studios, anime companies that are starting to kind of post their stuff online themselves instead of going through studios and through publishing sites. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Funimation. I have nothing against Crunchyroll and the various others. But I do like that they have that option. That if for some reason they can't make a deal with Funimation, which has been heavy on censoring and editing a lot lately, or Crunchyroll, which has been very selective with what kind of animes they actually put on their website lately, then they can still get it out there to, you know, the general audience on YouTube. I do like that they do that. And I'm sure they are making something because they can still monetize it. So let's see. Copy link. Go back here. Boo. I don't know why it posted that as my Let's Play channel profile, but sure. I don't know why it's saying welcome. I'm hosting. What do you mean welcome to the chat? Idiot. YouTube, you're a moron. Okay, how's your day going so far, Tim? I have acid reflux. I woke up with acid reflux and I couldn't go back to sleep. And it's just been this burning sensation in my throat that I can't get rid of. It always feels like you need to burp, but you can't burp. So that is incredibly, incredibly frustrating. Hey, it's Tim. It is Tim. Would you stream to Twitch? I have tried to stream to Twitch. Actually, I tried doing some Twitch streaming for, what was it? Poppy's Playtime. Poppy Playtime. And I streamed that. That went well. But Twitch forgot to save the footage, which I had as default, save the footage every single time. And it just deleted the footage. And so that went well. And then I tried to stream a different thing later on. And then Twitch and OBS would not record or would not stream my mic audio. It was either the game audio or my mic audio, which was weird because I just did that with Poppy Playtime and it did both. I have no idea what's wrong with Twitch or OBS. I don't even know which is the problem. So I'm totally fine doing that kind of stuff. I have no problem with it. The problem is I have no idea what's causing all these errors that I've had over the years trying to do that on using any software other than Action on any platform other than YouTube. I have no idea. I don't get it. There was other voice actors who were like, if we do a show, you know, we'll do it all together and, you know, we can just bring you in, we can like co-host it, that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And that nothing ever happened to that. But as far as like operating it by myself, I don't even know what's wrong. I thought I was doing everything right. I don't know. You're in LA. Would you be a guest on Tiger Belly? First of all, I'm not in LA. And I don't know who Tiger Belly who or what Tiger Belly is. I'd have to look that up. As far as being like a guest on something, I have nothing against being a guest on anything. Hey, Tim, I just thought of something. That's always dangerous. What if you made videos, I guess, made videos where you share some of your favorite bits of acting, judge your views on acting. Oh, just acting in general, not voice acting? Because I've done the voice acting thing. I actually tried doing something that was I think it was like Writing Wednesdays. I did a couple of those episodes. Nobody cared. I think I even tried doing them with live streams. Nobody cared. And it was more of reviewing film and writing and acting side of stuff. So maybe I'll try that again. As far as like acting, yeah, I'd totally fine reviewing acting. If someone wanted to send me, clips to review, just like the bad voiceover or good voiceover review, which I haven't done the good voiceover review just because I feel like it's kind of boring, even though I have listened to and reviewed good voiceover. There's a couple performances that come to mind when it comes to good voice acting. One of them, which was my absolute favorite, just because the performances were amazing. Well, actually, there's two. One of them was Garden of Words, which is a 45-minute animated anime film, which is beautiful and gorgeous. There's a little bit of controversy about the story and subject matter, but if you know Japanese culture, it's not that bad. I mean, even if you don't know Japanese culture, it's still not that bad. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well done. The end scene is beautifully performed. It's one of my favorite voice acting scenes of all time. And the reason is so with a lot of animes, the struggle is you can either do where you match the lip flaps and try to match the translation as much as possible, or you can do basically what they did for Garden of Words, which was more of, they didn't really care too much about the matching the translation, doing like a very, very accurate translation, or matching the lip flaps. They went with performance instead. So there's a lot of scenes, especially that end one, where you'll hear them talking while the mouths aren't moving, or you'll hear them talking or not hear them talking while the mouths are moving, because their performance doesn't quite sync up necessarily. And if you were to watch the original Japanese, the text isn't exactly the same. So they went with performance, which meant that they got a really, really good performance. The voice actors did an amazing job. You can actually hear them cry. You can actually hear genuine emotion in it. And so I would definitely say it's almost perfect. That anime is almost perfect in my view. And then a close second, as far as performance-wise, would be Weathering with You. I think that's how it's said. It's another anime. The performances in that one are great as well, and they're played very low-key, very genuine. They're not extremely over the top, which is interesting because every single coaching or workshop that I've seen for anime always talks about doing the over the top, doing the larger than life, doing the very odd cartoony voices, or not cartoony voices, cartoony performances, to match more of what you see on screen, and to match more of the Japanese kind of sense of humor. But there's been a lot of animes that have been dubbed recently that have kind of just pushed that off to the side. They're like, we're going for performance here. We're going for tailoring this towards the American audience, which is really who that's for. If you're going to do an American, dub, which I know there is a huge controversy as far as if you do an anime, it needs to be basically, the same as the Japanese, only in English. And that, I don't think that that's how it should be, because that's not who the audience is for. People who are wanting the Japanese sense of humor, the Japanese translation, the Japanese everything, the Japanese performance, just go watch the sub. Just go do that. The dub is for people that are wanting something a little bit more tailored to them. Let's see what we got. Yes, voice acting too. Cool. Garden of what now? Garden of Words. Garden of Words. Is that what it was? You're making me question myself. It's Garden of don't make me feel like I'm crazy. Yeah, it's Garden of Words. Make me feel like I'm a nut here. Oh man, that can make me look it up. I'm like, am I saying the wrong thing? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget the? Did I forget the? I don't know. But yeah. Wait, is that official? I don't know if this is official. Huh. Might be. I'll share it anyway. Boop. Oh. Boop. Boop. There we go. I should just switch over to my other profile. I thought that's what it was doing, but it didn't. And now I'm mad. There we go. There we go. Why is it still saying welcome to the chat? I'm the host of the chat. Yes, definitely watch it later. Definitely watch it later. It is beautiful. It is sad. It is, I mean, just artistically speaking, it is just a treasure. The music is great. The performances are great. I think both the English dub and the sub is available on YouTube. I think just look for it. Look for the 45-minute version. You will definitely learn something. I can tell you that for sure. I actually, so that end scene, I was actually going to try to do a 1-minute fan dub of that end scene, and then I found out that it actually was already in English, and then I went and saw the whole thing, and I was like, I can't touch this. They're better. This is just so much better. And also, so that is one thing is I don't want to ever compete with other people's performances. So I try to, if I do anything, like monologues or anything like the 1-minute anime dubs, I try to do stuff that's uncommon or stuff that isn't official or what have you, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm competing with anybody, which is I just don't want to do that. So, boop. Now I'm gonna get back to this. I'm gonna wait for more questions. Oh, I actually did start doing. Oh, I didn't actually start typing up a script for this. I started doing because I was watching so many animes recently. I started doing because I think there was like 20 something that I had watched, and I reviewed them, typed up quick reviews, and there were so many that I hated, and I'm sad that I hated them. There was a lot that I hated, and so I started recording videos of me ranting about these animes. I don't know if I'll ever actually do anything, like actually post this, but if it comes up to a lot and I can actually get a good editor, then I may actually have another channel just for that. Yeah, I never did. Okay. I never typed this up. What animes have you guys watched, enjoyed, liked? I don't know that. Leave that down below. Let's discuss. Type to insert. What? What's this mean? Okay. Well, that's weird. There you go. Characters' names. Find Google, I'll play it your way. Control Shift V. Ugh. Stupid. Oh, which ones did I hate? Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Here's the can of worms. Oh, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause what I'm doing because I need to get ready. The animes that I hated. You know what? I'm gonna pull up my anime list. I'm gonna pull up my my actual list. Oh my god. Oh boy. Because I want to, because I know the ones that I hated the absolute most. Oh, here it is, anime review list. Okay. Oh, good lord. So there's some that there's some that I didn't like, but I didn't hate. I'm gonna start with those. One was 5 centimeters per second, which is it's feature length, and nothing happens. And it has one of my favorite voice actors in it as well. Bosch. What's it? I think it's Johnny. Johnny Bosch? I think it is. I can never remember if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. He's in it. He's great, but nothing happens. Absolutely not a thing happens. You think that there's going to be like a love triangle, there's some kind of conclusion. There's nothing in this. It's sad with nothing. And so that really kind of bothered me. I didn't hate it because, like, due to the fact that there was nothing to truly hate. Other than the fact that it wasted my time. But I know people like it, so it's very hard to actually... Yes, Johnny Young Box. Thank you. Yes, he's awesome. He's one of my... heroes. He's absolutely one of my heroes. Another one that I hated, and I know people love this, and I understand why people love this one, was Rent a Girlfriend. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Now, let me make this very, very clear. There's really only one character that I hate. There's only one character, there's only one reason that I hate this, and that's the main character. He sucks. He absolutely sucks. The female characters, some of them I started hating, and then even at the end, like I didn't hate any of them. All the female characters were well written. They were fine. There was nothing technically wrong with them. It's him all the time. Sucks. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil it for the most part. But his one thing is he wants a girlfriend. From the beginning, that's what he wants. He wants a girlfriend. Then he gets depressed, does a Rent a Girlfriend, which I didn't know was an actual thing. Found out it's an actual thing, even in Austin, Texas. And they were accurate to the rules. You know, that was a nice little touch. It's like, oh, it's a real thing. Okay, it's niche, very niche. It's also a kind of a unique story. It's not same typical, same old, kind of. And then, he rents someone, she's nice, she's awesome, but he keeps renting her, and he lies to his family, and he gets himself in deep, and then it snowballs from there. Eventually, he does actually get a girlfriend, and he's miserable about it. He hates it. And she's not a bad person. She's a little clingy because he's like, even though he previously said she was hot. You previously said you liked her. You wanted her. She was dating a friend of yours. You were jealous. You finally got her, and you want to do a trial period. What the hell is that? What the hell is a trial period for dating? And he's like miserable the whole time. Ugh. It's like, you suck. As a person, you suck. I hope you're miserable and die. And then they're doing a season 2, so I'm probably not going to see that. Let's see. Yeah. So that was that one. And I thought that was one that I hated the most. At that point, that was the one that I hated the most. And then I was unfortunate to see other ones. Another one that was kind of meh on was Steam Boy. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought the visuals were good. I didn't get the story. I didn't get it. Maybe I need to watch it again. But that was kind of a meh. That's not one that I hated, but that was kind of a meh. Here's one I absolutely hated. Now, it's very interesting that you tricked me into doing this. I mean, this was supposed to be like a Q&A for voiceover, but sure. Fine, whatever. Here's one that I really, really, really didn't like. Way more than Rent a Girlfriend, just because it had more problems than just one character. And that was Hagane. I hate that anime. I'm sure someone will be able to debate and break it down why each character is this. It's like, you should have read the manga, you should have done this and this and this. But it's truly horrible in almost every way. Now, when going into it, I actually thought, like, after the first couple episodes, I actually thought that it was going to be about taking the antagonists from other animes and giving them their own show. I thought that's what it was. Because, like, every single one of them, I was like, they're all horrible people. They're all terrible people. They're all antagonists, or they're all just psychopaths or sociopaths, like the main character. The main character is a textbook sociopath, which isn't a psychopath. That will be, and I don't have their names in front of me. Yozuro? Is that what it was? Main character Yozuro? Maybe? Or Kobita. I don't remember which one's which. But the black-haired girl is a psychopath, and the blonde-haired boy, main character, is a sociopath. And here's how I can prove it. So, it starts out there. The black-haired girl wants to put together a fan club. Spoilers as to why. She's actually trying to, befriend and or more with the main character. Because she likes him, and she pretended to be a boy or something like that when they were younger, and so he doesn't know who she is. And so she wants to put together a fan club, and all of a sudden, he does actually join the fan club, kind of, sort of, maybe. And then this blonde girl, who's like rich and popular, comes in because she doesn't have any friends. She's a good person. The blonde-haired girl, whatever, you're supposed to hate her for some reason. Why? The only things to hate about her are her immutable characteristics, things that she has no control over, being good-looking and being rich. She's a pervert, sure, but they all are. And then she comes in because she just wants to be friends, and then the psychopath girl abuses her every episode. Every single, and I mean physically abuses her. And then the main blonde sociopath douchebag every single time just stands there and goes, oh, that sucks. Someone should do something about it. And then never does anything about it. Because he's the worst. That's kind of the whole it's kind of the whole thing. There's other things. I go deep dive into all the characters, and Japan, you sick perverts. But that's why I didn't like that one. And apparently people loved it. I don't know why. I'm guessing the manga's better. I'm sure it's one of those where the manga is like 1,000 times better. But I didn't like it. Any questions? I'm gonna since no new questions have come up. I can relate to I like that. I didn't like it that much. Okay, yeah, that was that. Guilty as charged. guilty as charged for the... I'm guessing just same. Rant mode activated. Yeah. Oh, I go into way more depth when I was talking about these animes to somebody else. I went off. Like, there's just some and those, by the way, both of those, Rent a Girlfriend and Hagane, are both 4 out of 10. I gave those a 4 out of 10. There were a few moments when I genuinely laughed at those. There were a few things that I was like, all right, that was kind of funny. Then there is... Actually, I'm going to see if I can talk about anything else before getting to that one. Oh my gosh, there's only one other one that's like... So the majority of them are like, pretty good. Toradora, I gave that one an 8 out of 10. That one's pretty good. The only thing is it just leaves off at a huge cliffhanger, tons of questions, and that was unsatisfying. Didn't like that. Garden of Words is almost perfect. A Silent Voice, I gave that one a 7.5 out of 10. If people are interested in me doing a deep dive review into more and more animes, I'll probably do that. But A Silent Voice was good. There was just a few things that I didn't like. There was tons of hugging, but the two people who needed to hug and needed the hugs the most did not get hugs. The two people who were the saddest, most beaten, most depressed did not hug. I don't know why. Especially in their time of need. Like, everyone else gets, hugged or whatever. It was, I don't know. That kind of bothered me. I was like, somebody hold that person. They're crying. Tonikawa, 7 out of 10. Again, nothing happens in it, but nothing bad happens in it. I think it's a wholesome anime. I think it's, fun. I think it's, it's cute. One that actually made me laugh quite regularly, and I'm totally not going to be able to pronounce this name. Masamune Kun's Revenge. Definitely not pronouncing that correctly. But it's a former fat kid who becomes like ripped and handsome, and then now wants revenge on the girl that bullied him. The premise is golden. And there's a few scenes that genuinely made me laugh. So yeah, that one's a good one. I gave that one an 8 out of 10. It just has a few kind of meh. You should watch Mode Psycho 100. Oh, I've heard about that one. I can't remember if I've seen any of it. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't know if you remember, but I sent you some audio as a test for the microphone. Send me another email. It probably got... There are days when I get lots of emails on my various different email accounts. So if it came in early in that day and I didn't check it till later, it probably was just buried a ways down and I just didn't... Oh, excuse me. And I just didn't see it. So send me another email, little minder attached to that, to the same email, and then I'll check it then. But that happens sometimes. Mode Psycho is great. Okay. Yeah, Masamune. Yeah, that one's a good one. Almost finished the manga for Masamune or Psycho. So yeah, that one was funny. One of my classic favorites is always going to be Tenchi Muyo, the original series, because there was Tenchi Muyo, there was Tenchi in Tokyo, Tenchi Universe, and then there was Ryoki, Tenchi Ryoki. I don't remember which ones were which, but whatever the original one that first aired on Toonami, that was the one that I fell in love with. There was dynamic characters. It was funny. It was a little questionable at times, but it was funny. And if I was to ever write a live action adaptation, that's exactly the one I would do, because I've already started writing that, and I know exactly where I would take it, and I know exactly what I would do with it. I think it's got a lot of character, a lot of personality. It was one of the animes that really got me into anime. And then, of course, there was, Dragon Ball Z, and there was, of course, like Pokemon, stuff like that. But Tenchi Muyo was more about the emotions and the characters more than just the fighting and the visuals and the spectacles. So, Your Name. I'm trying to remember what that one was. I'll have to look that up because I know I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but I don't remember what that one. I just want to make sure I know. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, that one was good. Yeah, gave that one an 8.5. That was another film. That was another feature length. And that one, again, the only problem I have with it, there's a few points, but the main problem is just the ending. The ending was just like, it was just, I don't know what's up with Japan. I don't know why every single anime seems like a cry for help at the very end, but it needed something more than how it ended. But everything before the ending was really good. It was almost perfect. Again, the visuals were great. The plot was great. The twists and all this kind of stuff was really well done. It was exciting. I've actually seen it multiple times. Like Garden of Words, I've seen it actually multiple times because it's that good. So, I think I fell. Spirited Away. I think I fell asleep during that one. I think, and it wasn't like late at night. I was bored. I don't know why. There's some of those ones that I just don't get. I gave that one a 6 out of 10 because I thought visually it's beautiful, but I fell asleep during it. Let's see. Okay, I'll do that. Cool. Yeah, Masamune. The manga. Okay, cool. Have I ever seen Berserk? Ooh. I don't think so. I don't think I've seen any of Berserk. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of Berserk. I can't think. I'll have to put it on the list, but yeah, I don't think I've seen any of it. That has wonderful voice acting. Okay. The CGI Berserk. I'm guessing there's a CGI version? Nah. That doesn't exist. Okay. Fair enough. And let's see. Here's one that I really wanted to like, but there was something seriously wrong with it. Love Chidibio and Other Delusions. I love and hate this one. I give it a 6 out of 10. I really, really wish that, because the subject matter is actually pretty serious, and it's pretty toxic if left alone. And I don't think that it's a good message for young people, especially when you start asking questions past, basically extrapolate further into their relationship. Things get pretty dicey. I wish they would actually tackle the question of if they did, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, if they did actually end up married or together, and he had a heart attack, would she know to call a hospital? Would she know to call the ambulance? Or drive him to the hospital? Or would she stand over him waving her fingers and thinking that she's curing, the dark magic? That lingering question, that huge question, because you can be both incredibly childish and creative in the mind and be, a productive member of society. You have any idea what LARPing is? Have you been to a comic convention? These people exist. You can have both. So I thought the characters were great. I thought the writing was good. The voice acting was meh at times. I do like that there's more to it. It doesn't just end at one season. Thank you. Which actually, after the first season, I actually hated. The second season, I liked a little bit more, but there's one character that I wish would just piss off. And then the specials and the movie I thought was a whole lot better. But it's still had the lingering question of, if something serious happened to him, would she have the mental capacity to deal with it in an intelligent way, and in a mature way? That was the only thing that really kind of like bothered me. Hey, I'm just reading. Hey, I don't know any of the anime y'all are talking about. LOL. Which one? I think I covered 10 so far. Yep. Look at Michael Jackson. What? Oh, okay. I was so confused as to what you were talking about. I was like, what is this? Yeah, look at Michael Jackson, musical genius, but stuck in a child's mind because of... Okay, yes, okay. Wow. That took me on a mental roller coaster. No idea what you were talking about. Yeah. Another one that I liked was Teasing Master Takake-san. That one I gave an 8 out of 10. I thought that one was really, really good. And actually made me laugh quite regularly, which is very uncommon because, I don't know, the sense of humor doesn't normally make me laugh out loud with a lot of animes. You know, it'll be amusing or I'll enjoy it, but like there's some like some scenes and some times where I'm like, that was genuinely funny. Not much to say about that one. I will say, however, I don't know what is up with who actually is doing the English dub, because I think originally it was Funimation who did season 2, and then Netflix did season 1 after them, and then now there's a season 3 that's Netflix. I don't know. Someone message down below or correct me. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know who's doing what. I will say this, however, I prefer the Netflix version 100%. The Funimation version, I don't know what it is. I don't like the performances. I don't like the voice acting. I don't think it's very well done, but the Netflix version is, I think, better. I don't know. It's very weird. Comment down below. Yes, it is precious. It is absolutely adorable. Wonderful anime. Speaking of anime, AOT is coming. Do not abbreviate. I will have no idea what you're talking about. I'm assuming you mean Attack on Titan, but please clarify. Is coming new episode next year. Okay. I didn't get very far. There's a couple animes that I haven't. I'm not going to write a review, but there's a couple animes that I cannot finish, and I really don't enjoy. And I should, because I know that they're great. One of them is Attack on Titan. The other one is Demon Slayer. And before people get lit on fire, I understand that these are good animes. I do. I understand that they're great. I understand that they're good. I understand that they're fun. I can see why people enjoy Demon Slayer. I think the visuals and the action is great. There's some characters that I genuinely like, but I mean, in Demon Slayer, well, okay, Attack on Titan, I don't like zombies, and Attack on Titan is essentially giant zombies. Not a huge fan of that, and they're like giant flesh Jaegers, but essentially it's a zombie movie or a zombie show, and I've never been a fan of zombies. I couldn't get through The Walking Dead. That kind of storytelling always bugs me because there's always tropes that are used over and over and over again. When you have an enemy that's essentially just brain dead and just has one function, and they're slow moving or whatever, the only way to really truly build any tension or drama is to make the characters that you're supposed to be rooting for either throw a traitor in the mix that kills everybody, or you make them make dumb decisions. You throw in idiots and cowards and make them make dumb decisions. And that always bugs me on a writing standpoint. I just can't stand that kind of stuff. It drives me crazy. As far as Demon Slayer, there's so much goddamn talking when there shouldn't be. And it's one thing to get exposition out. It's another thing to be saying essentially the same thing 10 different ways. And that just kind of bugs me. And I'm sure the problem is that there's that again, I'm sure the manga's like 100 times better. I'm sure it's having to condense it. I'm sure that's what it is, because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like they took all this dialogue from the manga, they condensed it for the anime, but they didn't really like streamline it efficiently. They just kind of like cut stuff out and then just kind of crammed a lot of dialogue in. And it just doesn't feel right. Prime example, when he is in the cursed forest or whatever, and there's the big blob demon, and he's in the air. He's got his sword, and he's getting ready to chop his neck. And it goes on for 3 or more minutes of him talking about how he needs to kill this thing, how he needs to chop its head off, how he needs to make sure that the strike is good. He has, otherwise it's going to kill more people. You know, it's the one that killed all those. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. And it was literally at that point I decided that I wasn't going to be watching anymore. And I took a pause. I waited. I came back. I watched 2 more episodes, and I was exactly the same place that I was. It was so much talking. It was so much stuff that just didn't make sense. And I don't know. That bothers me. If it doesn't bother you, it's people love it. I know it's me. So I don't want anyone losing their shit, but I just can't. So there we go. Have we talked about No, we have not. We have not talked about that. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. I'm assuming... I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying. Okay. I will try to look it up. I never watched Demon Slayer. Watch the first 3 episodes. If you like it, keep watching. If you don't, it's fine. It's probably not for you. Well, they are giant cannibalism. Yes, they are giant cannibals. I assume that's what you're trying to say. I was going to ask, what was your inspiration behind... Oh, the Black Dress short story. For those just tuning in, earlier, I was talking about me getting into writing and the first actual short story that I finished. Finished as in writing. It's not finished as far as editing. There's still a lot of stuff that I need to do before it's presentable, because it's going to be the first thing that I publish with my name on it. So the inspiration for it, one... and I'm trying to do this without spoiling anything, because I do want you people to enjoy it when it does come out, and I'll be doing an audiobook of it when it's finished. Well, one of the things was I saw this constant Facebook meme that it was like supposed to be like a POV shot of someone in bed, and at their feet there's like this big black silhouette with like wide eyes, and the caption is like, "What would you do?" kind of thing if you woke up and you saw this. And I thought about that for a while, and I was like, well, I don't know what that is, so I don't know if it's a ghost, if it's a demon. I don't know what it is. So first thing is just talk to it. It's just try and talk to it. And that's kind of where the idea came from. And then the rest was a lot of stuff that I'd been dealing with and struggled with over the past few years of my life. And so it just kind of like, it snowballed into this sad yet sweet story. That's all I'm going to say on it. When it gets closer to being finished, when I actually have like a description and a synopsis, maybe then I'll talk about it a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, now, and this will be the last one I'll talk about. One another anime that I really liked was The Ancient Magnus's Bride. That's another one that's almost perfect. I think it's only the last 3 episodes that I have a problem with, just the way all the pieces line up and the decisions everyone makes. But everything before that is almost perfect. For those who haven't seen it, it's basically Beauty and the Beast meets Harry Potter. The shortest... another one that's my favorite, but again, nothing happens in it, and I think it's hilarious, is Love is Like a Cocktail. I gave that one a 7 out of 10. Each episode is like 3 minutes long. So the entire anime is 30 minutes. And it really, all it is just recipes for cocktails. That's it. But it is very cute. It is very cute. It's very funny that it exists. Nice. Well, I enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed which thing? Enjoyed what? The Ancient Magnus's cocktail? And another one that I saw recently that I liked, but it wasn't great, was Maid Sama. I expected more from that one, and it just kind of fell flat almost every single episode. Also, there were like 3 side male characters that every time they were on screen, I just skipped. They were pointless. Maid Sama, I thought was supposed to be where it was like basically an angry feminist meets, some like MGTOW kind of guy, like, like really brosy jock kind of dude, and it was just like them butting heads. I thought that would be interesting, but that's not what it was. It's not what it was, and it was very kind of disappointing. And also the voice acting was not great in it. I would say voice acting wise, it's probably the one that is probably the farthest down on the list. I can't think of any of the characters' performances that I liked. I think it was all terribly miscast, and it was just kind of boring. I finished it, but if you were to ask me what happened in this episode, I have no idea. It's just gone. A Whisker Away was another one that I wanted to like. Visually, it's beautiful. I think it's well voice acted for the most part, but it fell flat again. It fell really flat. I was bored. Yeah. I have not seen Love is War. I've heard that I would probably enjoy Love is War. So I may check that one out. Maybe that and Berserk. Put that in the list. That and the third one that was also on there. Tim, out of curiosity, what agents are you with, or are you still completely freelance? Okay, well, even though I do have an agent, I am still freelance. And that's something that you will always be. Finally, a voice acting question. So the agency that I'm with is, I want to make sure I say it. It's just called the Shepherd Agency. And they're relatively new, but like the guy who runs it is a pretty cool dude. What was really, really weird is that I had emailed every year. I spend like a couple months, and then I will email out packets. Basically, they have my headshot, they got my demos, they got my resume, all this kind of stuff, all my social media. And I will send those out to various agents and studios and stuff like that. Try to see if I can get any hits. And I had basically emailed that agency multiple times with the same demo, and I think 2 years in a row got nothing. And then when I didn't email them the following year, then they emailed me saying that they wanted to add me to their lineup. which was confusing and awesome. They were my first official voice acting agent. I was kind of represented by an agency that doesn't exist anymore. I think it was DB Talent or DB something like that. Yeah, DB Talent. I don't think they exist anymore. I was on their basically bench warmer list. They had like all their official roster, and then they had basically an overflow list. And the idea was like any time that they had, been sent a project to, help cast, but they didn't have enough, they would go to the backup. And I was in the backup list. And then they went out, and the lady who ran it retired, and so I wasn't on that list anymore. So that was kind of the first time, but the first official is Shepard. I'm still freelance, which means that I still am looking for work myself. I'm still auditioning myself. I'm still sending stuff in. I'm still negotiating pay with clients on a one-on-one basis, still sending them invoices. And that's going to be the case. My voice is cracking a little bit. That's going to be the case no matter how many agents you have. My agent said that he's totally fine if I had, if I do work within the state without him, doesn't matter, which is always really, really cool. And that's always nice to have. And they send me, I don't know, maybe like 5 auditions a week. Early on, I was getting sent a lot more. I don't think it has anything to do with me. I think it's just, the timing. And yeah, I think there's other people that aren't really agents but do send me auditions. One of them is like he's a startup dubbing studio, and so he sent me probably like 7-9 Chinese anime auditions. So, but that's it, essentially. That's basically it. I have an acting agent, but they don't really do voice acting. So, for the most part, essentially still freelance. Even having an agent, nothing's changed for me. All right, so, let's get back down to here. Let's see. Maid Sama, as in the one with Monica Rial. Yes. I love his words. Wonderful. Cool. The manga is great too. Awesome to hear. Hey, Tim, I'm a Texas voiceover artist as well. Just got my new commercial demo. Congratulations. Hoping it's good. After like 2 years since. So I've just been figuring out where to submit to. It depends. Did you make the demo yourself? Did you have a professional make it? What's the backstory behind the demo? So, a self-made demo is really good for when you're auditioning yourself, especially when it comes to lower budget projects or independent studios, like independent game studios or independent companies that are, just starting out. Those are great to send to them. But when it comes to an agent, they have a little bit higher standards. They're going to be submitting you to higher clientele. So even if it is good, they're going to want it to be produced by a professional. They're going to basically want it to be, a higher cost demo. So, for starters, you definitely need to have a litany of social media that are for your voice acting that you're going to be posting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then put your demo there with some kind of visual of you that accurately represents you. as well as your email and your links. And then you're also going to want a YouTube channel. YouTube channels are great because they're a place that you can send somebody a link to go watch a video, like watch your demo or listen to your demo, or send them a playlist of stuff that you've done. That's what I have. And then you can just send them a link. And everybody has and everybody watches YouTube. As opposed to trying to send them an MP3 or a WAV file. Sometimes, you know, they don't want to open it, or some platforms you can't send it through. But if you have the link, you know, it's easier to, you know, send someone a link through an email. That way you don't have to upload something every single time. So those are definitely the places to go. And then eventually you are going to want... Yeah. Whew. Eventually you are going to want your own YouTube channel. Or not YouTube channel, your own website. You're going to want your own website to where you can actually have all your links to everything, as well as extra stuff about you, bios, resume, stuff like that. And that'll be a place that you'll be posting that. Ugh. And I would say before you submit it to an agent, I would say find some voice acting friends that have done more work than you, who have some credit to their name, and ask them if they would be willing to review your demo before you submit it. If they say no, don't send it to them, and don't send it to them in advance. Ask them first. It's just more professional. And then if they say yes, then you send it to them, and then they review it. If they think that it's good, you want to ask multiple people, not just one. If it's good, then you can start sending it to agents. And I would definitely say start with your state, whatever state you're in, which is Texas, so that's good. Start with your state. Do voiceover agent Texas. Find as many as you can. Do your research on their website. Find out how it is that you're supposed to submit. Don't just email their info at blah, blah, blah. And then try to, you know, submit it appropriately for every single one of those. And that's basically it. Outside of that, then it's going to be down to one-on-one clients that come to you that, you know, want you to audition. I often will send my demo with an audition if it's just a one-on-one client. Now, if it's just a general posting on, like, social media, I'll just send the audition, and then maybe my links, my social media links in the email. But yeah, so that's essentially it. I got it done at a studio here in Fort Worth. And myself, the demo and myself are professional. Okay. It's just me. Sorry, I need to wear my glasses more often. It's just you trying to find work. Oh, okay. Well, I will say, unfortunately, this is kind of not the... This is an incredibly hard time to stick out from the crowd because of how many people have gone into voiceover because of what's been going on in the world. There's a lot more actors and celebrities who didn't do voiceover who are now taking up voiceover, and they're getting a lot of jobs from voice actors, which I don't like. But because of the situation, because of, you know, people trying to make money and sets and doing stuff in person is very, very hard. So it's going to be a little bit harder. You definitely want to make sure that you have something unique, or you have an area that you really, really ace at. So if it's radio, lead with radio. So if you're best at radio, lead with radio. If it's audiobook, lead with audiobook. If it's character work like me, lead with character work. You know, and then don't just have one demo for everything. I mean, obviously you need your character demo and your commercial demo, but don't just, you know, mix it all together. And if, like, for example, if you do specialize in tech narration or, information voiceover, where it's more like tutorial videos or e-learning, that kind of stuff, I would definitely make a specific demo for that and try to lead with that if it's whatever the thing that you're the best at. What's the best advice you can give to an up-and-coming voice actor who is currently pursuing audiobook but wants to branch out to other forms of, specifically animation? Every single area, every single avenue for voice acting is very, very different. Every single one is completely unique and requires its own tactic, sometimes its own setup. Audiobook is so when it comes to audio quality, audiobook is sometimes the most relaxed. I'm not saying that you can do audiobook with terrible audio, but what I am saying is a lot of times you can get away with just doing like a handheld dynamic mic, or you don't have to have full wall-to-wall treatment. A little bit of echo is fine because you're mostly just going to be talking casually. So it's a little bit more relaxed. Getting into character work, you need really good treatment because you're going to be hitting a lot of extreme frequencies. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a well-treated space. If you can't shout, if you can't yell and not hear reverb, you can't do character work. There's so much character work out there that requires you to be able to shout and yell without without peaking, without bounce back, without noise on the outside. You have to be able to whisper and it still be clean, and you have to be able to shout and it still be clean. So when it comes to character work, it's probably the most taxing. Commercial is between the two because they rarely ever ask you to scream or shout in commercial narration. But yet at the same time, it needs to be cleaner and sound crisper and more professional than audiobook. But it doesn't have as high a bar acoustically as character voiceover. After that, then if you do have that, if you have a good setup for that, well treated, you have the ability to change the gain and still get clean audio. Okay. Then I would definitely say you're going to want to start with castingcall.club. Start there because it is a free platform. It has auditions all the time, always has auditions. However, the downside is because it's free, it has a lot of listings and a lot of auditions and a lot of projects that aren't paying. But it does also have a lot of stuff that is paying. I've seen stuff that's in the thousands on there. So it has a wide range of stuff and opportunity. And the website is getting more popular. So that's a great place to start. I would definitely say if you're just starting out and the role isn't that big and it's not going to take a lot of time out of your day, go ahead and audition for some free stuff. Even if you get the role, it's a small role. If you do a good job, it's something that you can add to your demo, to your resume, to your demo reel. It's still something that you can list if you did a good job and if the production was of high quality. But there is a lot of stuff that you can audition for. And the good news is there's a lot of people on that website that are looking for voice actors who aren't too picky. And what I mean by that is they're not like they'll only hire professionals, people who have, a long list of credits. Do you deliver the performance well? Is the audio quality good? That kind of stuff. And if you did a good job at the audition, you'll be able to move forward. You'll get the job. Also, because there are so many auditions and it is free, it's a great place to practice and a great place to learn. So if you're just getting into this, let's say you do a bunch of auditions and you don't get anything, you didn't waste any money, and assuming that you're not wasting any time, and you're still like, you're not doing this instead of something that you could be doing that would make you money, you're gaining at least a small amount of experience. So that is something that it will still benefit you. So I would definitely say there, castingcall.club. I'm going to sound like Alex Jones by the end of this. I don't know. Good Lord. All right. Yeah, no, I've been working professionally for the last few years. I'm just trying to get other actors' insight on what they think. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'd say. It's very tricky. Nowadays, you got to utilize social media a lot, especially if you're trying to go into more contemporary, more modern kind of stuff. That's where a lot of the auditions and voice acting is. Yeah. So it's not impossible. It's just really, really tricky. It's considering how easy it is, and part of that is this YouTube channel's fault. How easy it is for a lot of people to get into voiceover now. It is kind of oversaturated. However, it's also incredibly easy for people to create content and create products a lot more than it used to be. So while the number of voice actors are increasing, the number of opportunities are increasing. I just don't think they're the same. So there's still a good bit of struggle. Awesome. Thank you, Tim, very much. That was very helpful. My pleasure. Casting call also is great for starting connections. Yeah. It just kind of depends. Well, yeah. I don't know how much making connections is actually worth these days, other than with studios and with people who actually create content. You can make tons of connections with other voice actors all you want, but they're not the ones who pay. I do on occasion because I'm actually creating content. So you want to find people, you want to befriend people who actually create content or create a product. You don't want to just befriend other voice actors that are on your level. Yes, it's good to make friends. It's good to connect. It's good to ask questions. It's good to collaborate. But they're not the ones who hire, and so that can only get you so far. And I don't think I've gotten any work through other voice actors. I can't think of any time that I've actually gotten work through another voice actor. I've hired other voice actors and I've gotten other voice actors work, but I can't think of many other voice actors who've done the same. And it's not to say that they're bad people. Far from it. I'm not saying that they're selfish or whatever. It's just that there's not as much opportunity in the voice acting friendship as when it comes to jobs. I'm good, relatively speaking. Throat's a little dry, just because I've been talking for a while. How long have I been talking? Does it say? It does not say. Absolutely does not say. Oh, maybe it says here. No idea. It could be days at this point. Yeah. I'm not sure what other questions you'll have. Oh, live stream. Yes, hello. Sometimes I get discouraged when it comes to voice acting, and considering I don't have a good mic, it makes me feel I can. I mean, well, I think part of the problem, it's not entirely. So I don't want people to think that they have to get like $1,000 microphone. I don't want people to think that they have to, because my studio is gosh, it's like $5,000. I mean, almost half of that is just the interface, the mic, and the gear. The rest of it is treatment. My rule of thumbs is the microphone has to be more than $60. I've reviewed a lot of microphones. You can see all my microphone reviews. Well, not all of them, because some of them I didn't post because the microphone was that terrible. But I don't think I've ever reviewed a microphone that was career-worthy that was under $60. I've reviewed tons of... I think 100 is the average price for a good, high-quality entry-level microphone. Whether it's USB or whether it's XLR is irrelevant. I think 100 is a pretty good benchmark. But my rule of thumbs is when you're first starting out, for every $100 you spend on microphone or interface, you have to spend like $200 on treatment. Now, after a certain point, it's not the same, especially when you have like, the Sennheiser MKH 416 like I do. It's not, the studio and the all the treatment in there probably isn't as much as the microphone and interface for me, but it's a good rule of thumbs. The most important thing is going to be treatment. So you want a good place to record, and you want a good quality mic to record that's going to sound professional. Part of that is going to be the effect it has on you. When you're actually ready acoustically to actually take on work, it helps build your confidence. If you know the microphone is not all that good, it brings you down because it makes you feel like you're not ready, because you probably aren't. Then after you have a good quality, place to record, and you can set up a high quality recording space anywhere between 350 to, I don't know, definitely less than 450. You could set up something for less than 450. It really kind of depends on what you're going for and how soundproof you need it to be. I don't think I've been able to set up something long-term for less than 300 that was of professional quality, but it's possible. It is possible, but my rule of thumbs is within that range. And then once you have a good place to record, there's no distractions, it's well treated, you have a good microphone, you're going to be in a better mindset and in a better emotional place to actually take on some auditions. It's going to make you feel more confident, more ready. And then when you go and try auditions, the more you do, and you're going to get rejected a lot, you're going to get a lot of disappointments. That goes hand in hand with voice acting. And then as you go on, you'll build your confidence. Then you'll start, making connections or reaching out on open market platforms like Fiverr and stuff like that. You'll start making a little bit of money. You save up that money. You get a coach. They get you the rest of the way. That's kind of what everyone else has to do. So I would say if you have a means of income, save a good chunk of that, set that off to the side, and then incrementally improve your recording situation. That's your first step. With the project to voice actor to project ratio. Okay, I gotcha. Ratio depend on the location you're in? No, not at all. Not even close. Most of my clients are in like Japan and Singapore. Cartoon Hooligans, which is I get a lot of work from, they're in Singapore, I think. Yeah, I think they're in Singapore. It's it really doesn't matter. Okay, so the location only matters if you don't have a recording space and the voiceover you're going for. If you're going for radio, it kind of helps to be local, But if you're doing anything else and you have your own, a recording studio that's good quality, location doesn't matter. Absolutely not. I think the only thing that would matter regionally or location-wise would have to do with the language. So if English isn't predominant, at least, then you're probably not going to be getting a lot of work with them. Outside of that, there's not really any limitation. That's the beauty of voice acting right now. It's about the beauty, and it comes with its cost. This means that I'm also, in the same market as people in Canada and people in the UK. We're basically all competing against each other, kind of, sort of, but not really. And it does make it where the voiceover market is oversaturated. So, but it does mean that I have just as much opportunity to get roles in the UK as someone from the UK has opportunity to get roles here. So location really doesn't matter. And that looks like that was it for the questions. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Wow. I didn't think this has been going on for so long. Oh, here we go. I've got another question for you. I am interested in purchasing voiceover right now. Okay. But I also want to create my own animated series later on. Okay. How could I transition over to this when I'm ready? Okay, let me see if I understand this. Pursuing. That's why I was confused. Okay, pursuing voiceover. Okay. Well, I'm doing the exact same thing. So definitely, you can do both. You can absolutely do both. There's nothing against doing both. In fact, it's very, very beneficial for anyone getting into the arts to have multiple things. That's why I'm doing writing. It's why I do hand-drawn art, digital art or whatever, getting into animation. I do video editing, acting. I do a lot. Sound design, Foley work, all that kind of stuff. I think one of the areas I don't really have any creative skill is when it comes to music. That's an area that I really don't have anything in. But everything else, I have some kind of understanding. It is good to branch out, to have a lot of things that you can do. I would definitely say that voice acting and getting into making your own animated series, which is something that also I'm pursuing, is very... I mean, it's a healthy marriage. They both go well together. So I would just say, when you're not doing voiceover, you're not auditioning, you're not doing anything like that, watch some videos on animation. Look at the different techniques and different programs. When you got the ball rolling for your voiceover, then go and start the ball rolling on animation. Maybe go to Udemy or those various other course-based websites. Learn some stuff about animation. I was doing the same thing when it came to animation as well. I haven't had too much success with animation. My opening, if you've watched any of my other videos, the opening, the intro, the animation there, that was all done by me. All done by hand. I think that's the closest I've gotten. Y'all can also go to my Instagram, also FunnyGuyTimmy, and y'all can see some of my art and animation there. It's a long progress. It's going to take you time, just like anything else. It's going to take time. But I would say it's definitely something that's healthy. When it comes to voice acting, you want to either also get good at writing or animation, because one of those is definitely going to come up at some point in time. I would say writing is probably more beneficial because at some point in time, you're going to be, if you're ever in charge of an anime dub and you're like the director, you got to also be good at like tweaking the script. Everything needs script and needs copy. So even if you were doing your own original animation, you'd still need to get good at writing. But that's what I'd say. What do we got? Funny question. Would a hoodie make for a good pop film? It depends on the material the hoodie's made of. You don't want anything that's too thick. Normally, the easiest way to just make a pop filter, even though nowadays it almost costs excuse me, it almost costs more to make a pop filter than it does to buy a pop filter. Usually the easiest thing is coat hanger and pantyhose. And then you can just bend the coat hanger to a way that it will actually hold on to the microphone or the mic stand or whatever. And then you just stretch the pantyhose over whatever ring you make in the coat hanger. A hoodie would be too much. It would prevent a lot of the clarity and the subtlety of your voice from getting through. You'll get a lot of the bassiness because that bassiness emanates through stuff better. It just pierces through materials, but to get that clarity, you're going to want a thinner material. I think someone's trying to share. Where did I leave off? Okay. Hey Tim, great to see you going live. Yeah, it's been a while. Found out it's been like a year and a half, maybe a year and 5 months, something like that. It's been a while. Have you recorded audiobooks? And if so, oh, good Lord. What is your experience with them? My audiobook experience. So there are 2 audiobooks. Yes, there are 2 audiobooks. Maybe 3, actually. I think there's 3. One of them, someone wanted me to record the book of Genesis. I got a little ways into that, but they kept wanting to go down on the pay constantly. And I mean, it's so specific with the pronunciation, all of the words. So it was a lot of work. So to go down on the pay, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Then there was an old, sweet old lady who had a book of poems. And she hired me because she wanted me to do basically a voice per poem. And I was like, I can't do that. It's like 300 poems. Like, I'm not doing that. But I gave her a variety. That one's actually on Amazon. That one's not good. Because I think that was like one of the first audiobooks I did. And then there was another one that was a short story, I think. That I think it was like the first one I ever did, and I only took on because I needed the money. And again, I don't think it's on Amazon anymore. I think that one actually got taken down. So I have 3 experiences with audiobook, which I'm actually about to get. When I finish my short story, I'm actually about to get deep into audiobook territory. But my experience with audiobook is that it is it's a lot of time, and that's really the only thing that really kind of like the only thing that's taken out of you is time. You want to make sure, number one, that you've read it over before, so you kind of know where everything's going. It'll affect your reading if you don't. You want to know how to pronounce each one of the characters' names if it has, character names in it, or any other creative pronunciation. If you're reading fantasy or sci-fi or anything like that, and there's like names of planets, names of races, whatever, get all that in advance. Go it over like 1,000 times. That is absolutely going to beat you senseless. And then make sure you're using a program that has an autosave or a backup feature, and save regularly, and then take lots of breaks, because it's going to be long form. And don't even bother. What I do is I will basically record a chapter, or at least a good chunk of it, before I start like cutting it down a little bit. Because like if you record the entire book with all the mistakes, with all the pauses, with all the with all the noise, it's going to be a huge file that will probably bring down your computer's RAM and memory. So you're definitely going to want to do it in chunks and do it in sittings and do it bit by bit. I would say at least do a chapter at a time, and then cut and edit it down to condense its size, and then carry on. I would probably also say save raw files that are like the highest quality that you're recording at. Save those also as backups. It's a little bit more. It's not strenuously technical as far as like having to edit or having to EQ or having to add in sound effects or stuff like that, unless they're wanting full production, that's a completely different conversation. For the most part, they just need it to be clean. They just need it to not be peaking, not be popping. They just need it clean. So for as long as your settings are good on your mixer, maybe throw in a little bit of EQ, and then after that, it's just cut out all the bad takes, and then make sure that everything kind of like flows neatly. Yeah. That's what I got on that one. Best place to look for that is ACX, because it's free. And again, you can do free auditions. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those people who have like longer tutorials on audiobook. I haven't done too much that I was proud of for me to give a lot of like solid advice outside of the actual, like, the business side of it or, like, the technical side of it. So, hope that helps. I see. Thanks. My pleasure. Yeah, it feels really daunting. It is. Working on one right now in which will be around 7... Is that 7.5 hours? Or are you abbreviating 7,500? Yeah, about 7.5 hours. That sounds about right. That sounds like about... I mean, that's at least 350,000 words? I don't know. Depends on your speed of reading. And kind of the style of book. But yeah, that sounds about right. The only advice that I can actually give is when it comes to kind of the business side of it is, so if you go to ACX, which I don't know of many other places where you can actually audition for audiobooks, or you can actually find audiobook work. If you can think of any, leave down below, but that's the only one that I can think of. Other than like going to a publisher and contacting an author themselves. So that, of course, is when looking over an audiobook, when doing the audition, reading the synopsis and reading the sample that they have, and thinking, is this a book that I personally would buy and would read? And then also going on Amazon, because it's linked to Amazon, finding that author, finding out how many books they've actually published and how well they're reviewed. Because if they don't have a lot of books that aren't being reviewed all that well, it might not be worth the time and effort that you're putting into it. Especially if you're doing a royalty share, which a lot of them on ACX request. You know, a royalty share is fine because what'll happen if the book sells well, if you do a good job and the book sells well, over the years, you'll be getting a check. Every month, you'll be basically getting a check from Amazon. Every time that audiobook is sold, you get a chunk of it. And so you can do a whole bunch of audiobooks early on in your career and then stop doing audiobooks, but still be getting paid for them. So that's the benefit of them. It's kind of the long game. As opposed to doing things like character work, video game stuff, that is short game. It's one roll, you get paid right then, that's it. Doing audiobook can be future investments, but you got to want it, and you got to be comfortable with that kind of long form read. That's what I got for you. Hey, buddy, how's it going? It's pretty good. How are you? ACX is not working in your country. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Where are you from? So, not an option for me. Actually, got it through Voices 123. Okay, well, that's good. It's a book about management, though great, no characters. Thought great. Okay. Oh, is that the title of it? Oh, okay. There are like 7 characters. Okay, seven is fine. That's not a huge problem. If you need to record an audiobook, obviously you tell all your friends to get it and listen to you to help bring attention to the book. I mean, yeah. Germany. Okay. Have you ever had to EQ female voices for anything? I have. Quite often, actually. And if so, how different is it from ABQ your own voice? I see a lot more EQing male voices over female voices. I want to learn EQ my own voice. Interesting. I did not know that. It's very similar. A lot of the EQ technically has to do with the mic they're using, the microphone someone's using, the space that you're in, and the kind of the feel that you're wanting to get, especially from the scene. So I've EQ'd. So for one of my 1-minute fan dubs, I think it was. I don't remember which one it was. But for one of the 1-minute fan dubs, I hired a female voiceover artist. I EQ'd her. For the Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper, obviously Mrs. Stormtrooper, EQ'd her voice. For a feature-length fan dub that I haven't finished, there's a female character in that. There's a couple, actually. EQ'd and cleaned up all of her audio. I wouldn't say it's too different. The main thing with EQ is mostly, so EQ is essentially, so when you're editing video or editing a photo, and you're trying to get a particular look, you're changing the gamma, you're changing the contrast, you're changing the color, the hue, all that kind of stuff. That's essentially what EQ is. That and compression. You're trying to Weird. Don't know why that was redacted, but that was redacted. But yeah, so it's really just kind of what is the sound that you're trying to get. I don't know why you'd be seeing a lot more men do EQ than women. I don't know what that's about. I don't know where you're seeing that. I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know anything about that. So I don't know what that would be because of. But so I'll give you an example. My voice does have some sibilance to it. It does have kind of a high-end S. On my mixer, I have a little bit of EQ. I bring down the low end because I don't want too much of the bass, especially when I'm in there. Because if there's any outside noise, if there's any like traffic rumbling, or if there's any AC, anything like that, that's going to be in the low end. And then to kind of take off some of that sharpness, I bring down the high end. And then I kind of boost the middle so that my voice is still clear and doesn't sound all muddy. That's kind of how I do EQ. And it's basically the same on my DAW. Is I kind of have it soft roll off on the two ends and then kind of boost it a little bit towards the middle, a little bit past the middle, just because I want to savor some of that clarity. I want to keep that strong, but at the same time I want to cut off the high S's and the T's, and then I don't want to hear a lot of traffic noise, and I don't want it to sound too boomy. So that's how I do EQ. I would imagine that it's very similar. Again, depends on what it's being added to and what it's being used for. Each project is probably going to have a different EQ and a different compression, a different normalization, all that kind of stuff. They're all going to be different levels, and everyone's going to be treated differently, especially if everyone's on a different microphone. Because one of the main focuses, one of the first level things that a sound mixer will do in one project with multiple different voice actors is try to make them sound like they're all recorded on the same microphone or recorded in the same room. Because you don't want people to have completely different levels and completely different sounds than others, because then it's going to be blatantly obvious. It's going to take you out of the moment. Especially nowadays when you have like studios in LA and the studios in New York and the studios in Texas, and they all, that's why industry standard microphones are a thing. These are microphones that essentially mix well together. So that's often what that is. I hope that helped. I don't know if I blew past the question, but I hope that helped. I do have a video on EQ, but I'm not a professional engineer, so there's probably other people that have better videos on it. But I would essentially say it's the same technique, same stuff. If you guys need a demo, have Mr. Tim put one together for you. The one he did for me has served me well. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad it served you well. That's always something that is always good to hear. Gotcha. Okay. Also, while ACX is amazing, please be careful for scammers. Well, that's going to be on every platform. That's not just ACX. Who's trying to produce books that they don't have the rights to. Yeah. I mean, well, every single platform you're going to have scammers. You're going to have assholes on every platform. Same thing with Fiverr. Same thing with Voices123, Voices.com, Bidalgo. There's been people trying to solicit all kinds of free work from me on every single one of these platforms over the years. You're never going to be safe, like 100%. There's no. I mean, even going through like an agent, there's no guarantee. I mean, it's a better chance of not having scammers and douchebags through agents, but it is still possible. So there's no way to avoid that at all. So, but yeah, ACX really. I mean, any website that's going to be free, the cost is going to be you need to be more cautious. So, take it or leave it. Like that's one of the reasons that I don't do too many auditions when it comes to Reddit and Craigslist, because I see a lot of those. I don't trust those platforms, so I don't really do anything on those. But again, yeah, just be careful. That's it. All right. Looks like it has been 2 hours. Looks like it's been just about 2 hours. Almost. Got like 10 more minutes-ish. Oh, what's this? Stuff from Udemy. Udemy. Yeah. I don't know. If you guys are really interested in the anime reviews, I'll probably post them on here if you guys actually are interested. I would actually prefer someone else to edit them because I actually do want. I don't know. I want it to have a different feel than my normal content, my normal stuff. So, probably looking for an editor for that kind of stuff. Oh, here we go. How can you tell if someone is trying to pull one over on you in voiceover? Great question. My rule of thumbs. Get ready for this one. My rule of thumbs is I always ask a lot of questions out of the gate. And the more hesitant they are to answer questions or to give any information on who they are, where they're from, what company they're working with, anything on the project, normally means it's probably shady. So, let's say Fiverr. Let's take Fiverr, for example. Someone comes to me, good day to you, sir. You too. Nice work today, thanks. So, when it comes to, we're just going to take Fiverr, for example. Someone comes to me, and their profile isn't that old, and they have no profile picture. Their name is just like jumbled letters and numbers or whatever. And they want this and that. They want all kinds of work from me, and they're like, "Hey, here's the file. Can you send it to me, and then and then we'll pay you later, whatever." That's also another thing on any like freelance website or pretty much any website. Unless it's so like Fiverr, it's set up where they pay the website and then you only get paid once it's done. So there's no reason for anyone to contact you through Fiverr without going through that system. There's no reason if they had the money. So then I'll ask them a whole bunch of questions like, "Hey, sure, yeah. So tell me about the project. Where's it being shared? Shared to? How are you distributing it? How long is it running? All this kind of stuff. Background, that kind of story." And I try to ask in a very friendly way, not antagonistic, not grilling them or anything like that. Just kind of friendly conversation. Me showing interest in the project. The second I see any kind of offense taken by me asking questions, I'm done. You're dead to me. You're getting blocked. There's no reason a client should ever be withholding certain information. There are a few exceptions. If you're doing an audition through an agent and the studio doesn't want to say what it is, like, for example, Marvel, when they were looking for someone to do the voice of Red Skull for Endgame and Infinity War, because that wasn't actually the original actor, they kind of kept what the project was kind of a secret. So you are going to get stuff like that. But if it comes to a big studio, that means because it's a spoiler, they don't want to be out, they don't want to ruin anything. But if it's a one-on-one small client and, there's no reason for them to be withholding the information, it's not spoiler-related stuff. You're just asking about the company, you're asking about them, you're asking about the general idea of the project, and they don't want to give you information, run. Block them, run away. Especially if they're aggressive. Now, if they give a good reason, sometimes they do have a good reason. For example, sometimes you get people who are basically hired to be a middleman to come in and basically they're hired to find a voice actor. So they will be hired on behalf of the company. And so they don't have all of the questions that you're asking. They're like, I'm literally just here to find, this role. But a lot of the times those kinds of people, if it is legit, will still give you some information, whatever information they have available. If they hold everything, all the cards close to their chest, and they're offended by you asking, it's probably a scam. And that's the same on any platform. Same on any platform. Hope that helps. Good day, sir. Quick suggestion on how to find more clients. I've been doing VA on Fiverr for 2 years. Oh, a little self-plug. All right, a little self-plug. All right, I got you. And was making really good money working. But work has dramatically dropped off. Yes, I assume because of COVID. I had a client say, I was the hardest person they ever tried to work with because I asked 2 questions. What's your budget and what's the word count? Yeah, they can piss off. I mean, your budget and word count, they can answer either of those. Word count gives you at least information so that you can give them your rates. If they don't even give you the word count, they can piss right off. So you did have a question. Okay, so that was a question. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was talking about with the clients that kind of, if you ask them any questions and they kind of don't want to answer and they get mad and offended, just don't respond to them. Just don't answer. Because those are the ones that are either going to want something for free or they're going to want basically for you to audition, but they're just going to take the file and run. And that the audition was actually the whole thing. So there is a protocol. There's a language. There's a communication standard for dealing with freelance and dealing, client-freelance relationship. And if they're not wanting to work within those parameters, they're probably not legit. They're not taking this seriously, and they're probably not someone that you're going to want to work with. They're probably the kind of person that even if you did work with them and they said that they didn't have a problem with the file and you delivered it on time, delivered a good performance, they'd probably still give you a terrible rating. There's some people out there. Also, there's actually apparently some other voice actors out there, and this has happened a couple of times, who will try to take down other voice actors on Fiverr by making small purchases and then giving them 1 stars. To try to bring them further down on the list. There was a couple people that tried doing that with me. Fortunately, I've been on there for so long. I have so many 5-star ratings on all of my gigs that they didn't really make a dent. But keep an eye out for that. That's a new cropping issue. I didn't know that there was a thing about that on Fiverr, but there you go. Give you a heads up on that one. On Fiverr, I've always okay. I always have a quick response, 1 click. I send them. So I'm going to reach out. Initially, a couple things. When do you need it? How will it be used? Pretty good. Anything anti-religious or offensive or obscene? Yeah, I think those are good questions. I think those are good questions, but I don't normally use the quick response, mostly just because I don't want to get in the habit of just having a thoughtless process. I want all of my responding to clients to be unique and custom. That helps me remember that I talked to them and what I talked about. If it's just a quick response, I will often just forget. If I copy and paste something, I'll often forget who I messaged and who I talked to. That happened a lot when I was doing emails, doing cold emailing. I would not remember who I emailed. So I often don't do that. If that helps you, good. I think those are totally fine questions. But I personally don't use it. That's just my thing. I was trying to ask if you had any suggestions on how to get more work. Gotcha. Well, if it's on Fiverr, so due to the fact that Fiverr is a search engine, it's a very popular search engine. You want to make sure that you're offering the right gigs, because Fiverr is all about people finding you. Yes, there is the customer suggestion, whatever section, which I hardly use because that's where they really try to penny pinch. You want to make sure that you have really good visuals and that your information is clear and precise, that it answers all their questions, and that you're not just posting something that's like voiceover. I will do voiceover because voiceover is incredibly vague. Nobody goes on Fiverr and types in voiceover just looking for voiceover. They always have a project that they have in mind. They have a very specific thing. They're doing a video game. They're looking for someone to do an audiobook. They're, this and that. They know exactly what they're looking for because they're going in with intent, with a goal and a purpose. So you want to have project or gigs on Fiverr that would match all their possible intentions. So you want a video game, you want a cartoon, you want a radio, you want a telephony or phone messaging, you want audiobook, you want to be more specific. I will record and then fill in the blank. You don't want to leave that blank. I see a lot of people on Fiverr that have gigs that are basically just voiceover, and they'll basically mix their character work in with their commercial, and this doesn't help them because you only have like 5 keywords that you can use. If you break it down into individual specific gigs, you can use those individual keywords more accurately for that gig, for something that's more specific. So you're more likely to show up in searches. You're more likely to pop up when someone comes looking for a specific thing. And those are the clients that you want. No one's going to be coming on just like, I feel like hiring a voice actor today. What for? Nothing. Nobody does that. So you got to be very specific. So make sure that your gigs are specific enough, and then break them down, break them apart. If you don't have multiple demos for each one yet, it's totally fine to use the same demo essentially. You will want to, change it and diversify at some point. But, like let's say you use your character demo. You can use your character demo for cartoon, character work, video game. You can have those 3. That's what I did until I had like more specifics. Same thing with commercial. You can have the commercial, you can have radio, kind of, and then you can have like e-learning. You can have basically use that demo for those kind of. And then just have 3 specific gigs with their own keywords, their own title, and that way you're going to show up a lot more. You want to kind of throw out a wider net. Hope that helps. How about off of Fiverr? Twitter's a good place to look for searching. Castingcall.club. I'm not a huge fan of cold calling or cold emailing. I've never really had any success with that. And I've done a lot of it. So I don't recommend that. I would definitely say that your social media is going to be a huge benefit. There's some people that are starting to use TikTok for their demos and for getting voiceover work. I need to look into that. I don't know. I don't even have TikTok. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how you would use that. But social media, especially now, especially for the more contemporary stuff, is going to be a huge benefit. So make sure that you have, again, it would kind of be the same thing, that you'd want to have very specific demos and then use the right keywords, because every single social media platform, whether it's hashtags or whether it's keywords, you want to be a little bit more specific. You don't want to just throw it out to everyone. You want to target specific groups and specific audiences. Quick response. The quick response? I don't do quick responses. Is a... quick response. Oh, right. That thing. Gotcha. It's a feature on Fiverr. It also serves to help response time. Yeah, I just don't use it. I already get the notifications of any like Fiverr messages on my phone, and I try to respond to them as quickly as possible. And I always have my phone with me, so I don't really utilize the quick response. But again, if it works for you, it works for you. Everyone's career is going to be different. Providing me with some separate files for my various voices. So I have... Right. Yep. That was something that I did for Greg. We did the demo, and then I gave him the individual bits, the individual voices, so he could do whatever he wanted with them. I dig the new setup, my dude. It's not a permanent setup. My studio is still in there. Knowing that this was going to be 2 hours, I just wanted to be sitting down for it. Also, originally, my plan was to actually be doing screen sharing to show what I was working on, but that didn't end up working. So now I'm just sitting here. That's it. But I'm glad you like it. You're the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm considering doing... I really need to just put that here. I'm really considering going back to college. Why? But I want to pursue a degree that will help me with my career. While I know a degree isn't required for voice acting, what majors would be helpful for this field? Why would you want to go to college? No, I don't want to... For voice acting. Okay, so you don't have to go to college just as an individual. We've kind of oversold college. I think we overcompensated. College was very, very beneficial. Back in the day when you couldn't just learn stuff anywhere, when things weren't all digital, college was necessary. Otherwise, there was no way of you learning a thing. There was no way of you gaining the information. Nowadays, you kind of don't need it at all. You kind of don't need college. You especially don't need to go into debt. That's the thing that I'm very much opposed to, is people just going to get debt. So when it comes to a degree, it has to be a degree that you can immediately make money doing. Immediately. First 1 or 2 years, you're making some profit off of it. Guaranteed. I see a lot of people getting like sociology degrees and stuff like that, and then for 10, 20 years, not even using it. Same thing with psychology. Unless you go into those fields, there's not a lot there. But as far as what degree, if you're still insistent on going to college, I would say, personally, I say, well, number one, only go if you have the money to go to college. Again, don't go into debt. I would say there's creative writing is one that can actually benefit you in voice acting. There are also degrees in audio engineering. You can go for acting, the arts. I don't know the degrees, though. I don't know what those... Because another problem that I have is college also often... A degree is like a big packet of 2 or 3 classes or courses that benefit you, and the rest are just, like, useless. But they're like, you have to take those. That's another thing that I kind of don't like. So I'm trying to think of one that's, like, the most efficient, other than those kind of, like, specific... those specific things. I don't know. That's a very hard one. To answer. Hope that answered on some level. But creative writing and audio engineering and acting, these are things that you will use in voice acting, guaranteed. So if you can find something where you can basically, like, you can get those and you can afford it, don't go into debt, then those would be beneficial. Okay. Worth getting for doing... Wait, what? Oh, yeah, isotope. Yeah. Worth getting for voiceover work. Yeah. Kind of. I mean, okay, so it depends on the bulk of your work. I would say don't spend money you don't have, or don't spend money you know you're not making. So not at the beginning is it necessary, but as you go on, as your career becomes bigger and you start doing bigger scale projects, having kind of like that kind of programs and plugins and stuff like that to kind of help streamline some stuff is definitely beneficial, but don't get into that kind of stuff just yet. Theater, acting, and any film-based degree would probably... Yes, I agree. Nah, gives a podcast vibe. Oh, the isotope. Yeah. Kind of. I mean, you could tweak it, but yeah. For college, I would say audio, video, engineering would be amazing. Yes. Any suggestions for hot gigs? What do you mean hot gigs on Fiverr? That is a gig that are in demand. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Well, the problem with stuff that's in demand is might not last. I like to focus on stuff that's going to have a little bit more longevity. I mean, when it comes to voiceover, there's always doing the seasonal or holiday-based gigs, spooky Halloween stuff, or if you do like a really good Santa Claus or whatever. Those are in demand for like 1 or 2 months out of the year. But voiceover is hard for like an in-demand kind of thing. Except for like doing like an impression. Like when I was doing Donald Trump a lot, which I still need to release my Biden impression. When I was doing Donald Trump a lot, I was making a lot of money. Like the first couple months of that being out, I think I made over $2,000 just doing that impression. I did other work as well, but just that impression was just like, it was insane. People loved it. So that was in high demand. I think only if your skills equal the high demand. Don't try to force anything. So if you already have something that you're really good at that just so happens to also be very popular, then lead into it, obviously. But if not, it might not be worth the effort. I don't know. That was kind of a tricky one. Other than the Donald Trump one, I don't have much experience with that one. Mark Rowe. I thought it was Mike Rowe. Is it Mark Rowe? I think. Yeah, I think it's Mike Rowe. It's all about learning and trade versus going to debt in college. Yeah. I refuse to be a part of the club and the financial slavery. That's pretty funny. I don't think that college is completely useless. I just want to clarify this. There are obviously some areas and some fields where going to college is actually going to be better. Obviously, anything involving law or medicine or science clearly is going to be better. When it comes to more the arts, definitely not worth it. It's definitely to a point where you can find all you need online for free, or even going to Udemy, so you don't have to get like a full degree. Also, when it comes to a lot of like the arts and performance, most people that would hire you or even put you on payroll for that kind of thing don't actually care about degree. It's only when it gets to like more specific or technical or legal-based areas or medicine-based stuff where you have to have a degree. You can't just open, like a law firm and have no law degree. So there are some areas where it's mandatory and there are some areas where it's not. So just kind of like it's a case by case. Good to know. I figured that was the case. I was in college for a bit, and I took some time off because I didn't like Yep. Study, and I didn't find it particularly practical enough. Yeah, that's part of what I'm saying. Yeah, you don't want to. I don't know why maybe I'll do a whole video on this. It's actually a pretty good topic. I don't know why we force people or young people to go immediately from high school to college. It really is. I feel like it's a crime. It really should be high school. Obviously, you need that. You need that. But then after that, you need to take time to learn about you. You need to take time to learn about who you are, what your dreams are, what your goals are. You need to make a goals list. You need a 1-year goal plan, a 5-year goal plan, and a 10-year goal plan. And you need to do self-evaluation, find out what your skills are, what you actually do want to do. And you also need to spend time working a day job. You really do. Because there's so many people that have not worked a day job that basically, parents paid their way into college. They immediately came out. They immediately got some desk job, and they've never worked anything under that, and they have little to no respect for those kinds of jobs. They think they're under them, and that's not fair. And so you need a full understanding of everything. Also, I did a video last Saturday talking about day jobs. You need a day job to help you respect and drive you to do the things you really want to do. So definitely don't go to college just for anything, just because you feel like you have to. I know too many people with that story. It's a nightmare. It's debt, and it's just not good. It's not a healthy thing to tell people. Okay. I forgot where I left off. Okay, yeah, there we go. I would suggest anything acting related development, maybe anything. Yep, totally agree. Ooh, my goodness. There are at least 10,000 voice actors on Fiverr. You just have to get out there, buddy, and find your niche. Is it only 10,000? I thought it was more. Yeah, kind of what I said. I've heard from 2 or 3 voice actors that say their communications degree have done nothing for them. Yeah.
I don't even know what's in that degree. I don't even know what classes you have to take. I got nothing. It sounds like a nightmare. If only finding a niche was as easy as knowing they exist. As far as finding your niche, I think you just got to try everything when it comes to voiceover. Try literally everything. Audition for everything. Read all the scripts. And whatever comes to you the most natural, whatever comes to you the easiest and you have the most fun with, that's your niche. Obviously your niche is a little bit more specific, but that's within the ballpark of your niche. It's not going to be just... I think it's something that you have to find, and I don't think it's something that you just know out of the gate. So it is kind of hard finding your niche, but it's not impossible. As an anonymous individual, a torrent gets pretty... I don't condone downloading anything for free or pirating it. What? Oh, meditation voiceover is coming as a niche to Fiverr. Yeah. I've also seen some like ASMR kind of stuff, so I guess that's it. However, I think when it comes to meditation and ASMR, I think women kind of have that market kind of locked. I'm not saying it's impossible, just saying. Do you plan to do more mic reviews or maybe even interface reviews? I've always found your reviews, microphone interfaces. I do. As of right now, I don't. I have stuff in my. So I always have stuff in my Amazon shopping cart or wish list for stuff that I plan on reviewing in the future. But unless I have the extra money, I don't normally like make those kind of purchases. Considering there's no guarantee that I'll make any kind of profit back, and I try not to sell the stuff. Well, no. So when it comes to microphones that I've bought, I'll sometimes sell them to friends. But normally, if it's a microphone that's sent to me by a client, I don't sell it. I might give it away, but it doesn't feel right to try to turn a profit. There have been tons of companies tried to contact me to do reviews, but they've either basically been the exact same microphone I've already reviewed, just with a different coat of paint, or they're incredibly cheap and poorly made, and I can already tell that it would not be worth yours or my time. I don't want to just review microphones that I'm pretty sure are just not going to be good. I would rather find those diamonds in the rough. I'd rather find those gems. And I have a few that I got my eye on, but money's been tight for everybody, so it didn't feel right to do any more reviews like that. So, but yes, I will at some point, just not yet. Every time I turn away, there's like a whole bunch more. Well, not that much more. I'm just saying, find what you do very well and shoot for... Yep. Not just goals, plans, also figure out your limitations and reasonable. Yeah, that's fair advice. Mr. Sleepy. Oh, right. I didn't know if it was calling me Mr. Sleepy. I actually didn't pay attention to everyone's titles and names. Mr. Sleepy, thank you for all... multiple people. Right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it so much. It's a good to know the talent iconically. Cool. Good. Glad people are being helped. Yep, definitely take a video definitely make a video about college. Yes, I will absolutely do that. That might be the next one that I do, especially considering some questions have come up. I didn't actually know that there was going to be that many questions involving voiceover and college connected. So that's good. I'm looking to have found out quickly enough. Good. There's tons of kids to have zero life experience. I was 28 when I finally realized how the world worked, and then everything changed. Once you get that figured out, you'll be on your way. I mean, do any of us really know how the world works? I mean, right now it's just a chaotic, homunculus mess. I'm not gonna lie, I spent 4 months. Okay. Tim's help with my demo got me where I am. Granted, I've been doing. Okay. Well, good. Good. Yes. This should absolutely be archived. It should be archived. YouTube should be archiving all of my stuff. It might send it to private after the stream is over, but what I'll do is I'll make it public again. That's probably what it's going to do. I think that's what it does every time. But yeah, that's going to be it. My voice is going out. I need to get real work done. But yeah, this was just because I had not posted a video yesterday. So I want to do a live stream so that everyone can get all their questions out. And do it for more than an hour. So there was enough people to have plenty of opportunity. I hope. I'm scrolling through it, and it looks like we have covered a lot of topics. And so it sounds like doing a video on college is in the future. Posting videos about my anime reviews seems like something that you people might enjoy. Yeah, so good. So if there's no more questions, I'm just going to end this here. I got 2 more things. Thank you for everything. You know, your knowledge is priceless. Well, thank you. I did 1 day of research when I first started, and I had a broken Scarlett. So, okay. The V67G, it's a good mic. My 2 foot by 2 foot closet. Well, thank you. I'm glad I helped you out a lot. Pawpaw dog. It was a fun stream. Would definitely love to see more. I'll definitely try to do more. I don't normally get these kind of opportunities, and like I said at the very beginning, technical issues have made it cumbersome. I want to do more showing you guys what I'm working on, but for some reason neither OBS nor Action would let me do it, so it was just a face-to-face. Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, Tim. My pleasure. Hi, can I ask questions here? I mean, yes. You have 2 minutes. Ask your questions. And then you'll be the last. So I'll wait for that. Wait for that question. There's a little bit of lag on the video, so. Was your question if you could ask a question? Because if that's all you wanted to ask, whether or not you could ask a question, and I say yes, then I guess we're done. I guess we're finished here. If you have any other questions, or after the stream is over and you're like, oh man, should I ask that? My email, just find my email, ask me, and I'll do what I can to help. So, yeah. It's going to be it. Doesn't look like there's anything else. Doesn't look like they're actually going to ask. Oh, here we go. Do you have any tips on... What? Yeah, there's a fake person. Another one. Yeah, that guy. Hey, Tim, do a lot of cheap VO YouTube on Fiverr, but I kind of hate it. But I kind of hate it. How do I branch out? Okay. Interesting. Give me 1 second. Boop. The branching out. So you'll get better clients the more stuff you have to show. A lot of the clients that I've been getting, a lot of the people that have come to me have gone to my page and scrolled through all the previous stuff that I've done on Fiverr and found something that I did for someone else that they really, really liked and used that as an audio sample to send to me going, hey, we basically want this. Can you change it to just slight changes? That's kind of, that's one way of branching out. And the work that you get through Fiverr, again, you can make into a demo reel and then you can use that demo reel anywhere. You can throw it anywhere. You can show this is the kind of work I've been doing. I've gotten, tons of work through Fiverr, including Marvel, doing stuff for Marvel, and various other video games and cartoons and stuff like that. And it was just because it builds. It actually my audio and my clientele and my credits get better every year the more I do. I mean, I started out doing really shitty, terrible stuff as well. However, I will say that if it's like a YouTube channel thing, that doesn't mean it's always going to be shitty. When I started out on, if you go and look at the first video I did for Cartoon Hooligans, acoustically, it's not great. The animation is really kind of stiff. It really wasn't animated. It was basically just cutouts moving. And the script was non-existent. It was just dialogue. And my performance was not great. But Cartoon Hooligans, and this was, I think when I started working with them, they had 300,000 subscribers. Now they're in the millions. So just because it starts out not great doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. Everyone starts out not great. And if these content creators are actually like passionate about it, they're going to get better. And if you build a good relationship with them, they will have more work for you as it goes on. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. You should interview me. A BIMO means what? I'll interview you just to find out what the heck you're talking about. But I can help shed some light on my journey. Yeah. I want to do more. I do want to do more interviews. All right, let's read these last two, and then I'm out of here. But I can help shed light on the journey only if you want to. I might. We might talk about that. I think it's more haggling for $5 clients. I'm kind of getting worn down by. That. Then raise your rates. Easy. If you want me to share my rate sheet, well, actually, so I'm gonna you know what? For you, I mean, you can do this at any time. But let's go to my Fiverr. Let's see if I can copy. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's right. This one was not. Okay, good. It did. You could actually look at my Fiverr. Now, I'm not saying that I have the best rates. I don't have the best system. Mine's not perfect. But if you're looking for an example of what I would recommend to charge, I'm trying to copy. How do I copy this? I just want to share it. I want to copy the link. Nope. Why is it not letting me? Maybe that works. If you're just looking to, if you're trying to not have that many like haggling clients, maybe that worked. If you raise your rates, it's going to discourage the penny pinchers. If you're very clear and precise about what you will and will not do, it's going to discourage the penny pinchers. People that, are really vague, people that are very new to Fiverr, people that are very vague or that have like, because I still have, I'll do blah, blah, blah for $5, but I will record 25 words that are not for commercial use for $25. And that's just for one character, and that's not, multiple takes, and it's not this and that, it's not rush delivery. So that if it's like a larger project, if it's an actually more professional project, when you tally everything up, it becomes more closer to industry rates. And this discourages people who are trying to just penny pinch. So you may want to raise your rates. So I would suggest looking at what I've done. It might help you. Maybe. If you want a little bit more clarity, you can email me, and I have a Excel spreadsheet that I can send to you, which again is how I tally up my rates. It's the same system that I use when someone will email me. I'll tally it up basically the same way. And that might help you. So, thanks. Another thing, if you have a client purchasing commercial rights, do you charge more for a large budget company or a small budget company? Okay, so I need to do a video on this one as well. I actually have 3 different rate systems. One of them I don't mention, or one of them I don't list on Fiverr, mostly just because I know people will automatically go for it. So I have a $25 commercial rights kind of thing. It's like single platform, small budget project. Like, okay, so if someone's trying to put something on Steam and it's like a very small game, but they want to profit off of it, that's what that would go for. If it's a larger project, this company has done more, and they're wanting to put it on more than just Steam, there's another one for that. If it's one they want all rights to, and they want to, leave it open to where they can put it on this platform, this platform, this platform, this platform, and they can even use my voiceover from the game in the commercial to drum up business or build interest for it, then there's another one. So I'm definitely going to have to do a video on that, but I actually do charge differently depending on the client. And yes, that is actually a controversial statement. There's a lot of voice actors, professional voice actors, that think that you shouldn't. But that doesn't make any sense to me that you would charge one rate for every single client, especially considering the market that you're going into or working with. So that's the advice that I have. I do actually charge differently. I'll probably have to go into detail. But yeah. And then the last comment was LOL. What a fantastic way of ending this stream, just on a LOL. So, yeah, that's going to be it. So I'm done. If there's any questions, I will try to cover them in a video, or you can email me, or I'll type it up maybe. Yeah, that's going to be it. So thank you guys for watching. This was very long, a lot of fun, at least I hope. And I hope that y'all learned a lot. I hope that y'all felt like y'all got your questions answered. And yeah, I guess we'll see you later.